everybody. It is a very special, as every episode is special, of RümpChät, joined by Rump Shaker himself, Justin Rumford, and a guy that we are honestly pretty kind of starstruck, actually. He's a Canadian music legend, country music legend everywhere. You're not in the Western industry and you don't know his name. He has the umlauts over. I learned what umlauts were last night texting with this guy. But welcome to the show, the masterful musician, Mr. Cörb Lund. Thank you for being with us, brother.
Yeah, of course. I'm a fan of the show.
It's Jake Watson, our little bronc riding buddy from up there, turned you on to RümpChät. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've heard a bunch of people mention it, but I think he's the first guy that told me I got to listen. So
it's you must have a lot of time to waste if you're listening to us.
when he told you about RümpChät, did he mention at Sykeston when he passed out from drinking beer in the chair and I put my butt cheeks on him?
He didn't mention that. I think he
probably okay.
Repressed.
Oh, I found it. Here he is, drunk.
Filmed it.
Sorry, the glare. So hold on. Oh, wait, maybe I missed it. That was the. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Okay, this is me. I'm getting it ready, and.
That's Jakey taking a napski.
Hello, Jake.
That's assault.
Yeah, well, hey, cheers. Have a little Pendleton. Have a little Pendleton water myself. So cheers to you up in the Northland.
Yeah.
So I want to start off. What have you been doing in 2020 in the era of COVID? What has Cörb Lund been keeping busy with?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's funny because if this would have happened my career as a cycle, I put out a record, promote it, then I go back into hibernation and write another record every couple of years, right? And if this would have happened, in a writing period, it wouldn't really have hardly changed nothing. But as it turns out, we had our first record in 4 years, and we did a good job on it. We're proud of it, and we had the van all spruced up, and the bus rented, and the new stage banner, and the t-shirts all printed, and we had 5 months of shows booked, and we were in Greeley actually, and we had to come home because we were 1 week into our 5-month touring cycle, and we had to come home. Bad time. So, and but here's the thing though. So those two things, it was a financial disaster, of course. And secondly, nobody wants to release a record in the middle of a worldwide plague or whatever. But aside from those two things, if I put those on a shelf in my mind, it's been okay because I've been doing this most of my adult life and touring, and I love it. But I got the rural work ethic where I probably wouldn't allow myself to take a year off on my own accord. So it's been okay because I've been spending the time actually working on my voice and taking guitar lessons and trying to sharpen the tools and writing. So it's been all right. And I've seen the family and fixed a bunch of fence. And
see, that amazes me that, you've been doing this for, I'm guessing, what, 20 plus years, 15 plus? Yeah,
20, almost 20, I think.
Yeah. So, but yet you still, put the time in to sharpen your tools, like you said, and take, get better on the guitar. That's awesome. I commend that because, everybody can put it into a lot of, whether it's me playing music, or Rump and his jokes, it gave us time to really kind of step back and go, okay, I need to get better constantly. But you kind of lose when you're busy, when things are going, it kind of, you put it off. But then you sit back and now you got time and you think, man, I need to, I got to either step up or step out of the way. And I don't want to step out of the way.
And I really feel too, like when you're at home fixing fence and doing stuff rather than what you want to do, that I know for a fact when, I don't know if you know this, Cörb, I'm a pretty good pool boy.
Yes.
Since COVID started with.
That's a very true story.
the number one pool company in Northwest Oklahoma, Cruise Pool and Spa. But, when I'm working on swim pools, I'm thinking, man, I sure wish I was rodeoing, and all the different things I can do better as a rodeo clown or entertainer. So, but I think it's cool with you and like with Chancey Williams and some of those guys musicians that I've got to follow that are involved in the agricultural lifestyle, that, they don't just sit around playing the guitar. They get out and fix fence and move cows and can actually, do cowboy stuff. And so I think that's pretty badass, when you're talking about building fence, because a lot of times when you see these guys touring or cruising around and kicking ass, you don't think of them like getting home and putting out hay,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I actually re-listened to the Chancey episode today just for the hell of it. And he's right about, there's in the wider population, people say country and Western, but they're very different, right? Because country music, I love Merle Haggard and all that stuff, but Western music is a different thing, right? Western music is it's about rural life and cowboy stuff, and not everybody understands that. And I mean, I can't say I'm nowhere near a working hand or anything, but that's my heritage and that's what I grew up with, and I do what I can. But I mostly play music now. But like there's not that many people who. I also heard you guys given the bull riders shit that play on their tailgates after the rodeo.
Oh my god,
that's me. I'm sorry.
But my point is, it's a fine line, because there's a lot of musicians that would love to know about cowboy stuff and would love to be able to be authentic that way. And there's a lot of people who are rural people who cowboy and who would love to be able to play music. But Ian Tyson told me one time you can't do both of them well. So there's a real narrow bunch of people that cross over and do enough of both of them to be good at both of them, and that's a rare thing because they both take a lot of time and a lot of effort. But like Chancey's one, and I don't know, I'm sure you guys know Ian Tyson's music.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's the real thing, and there's a few people that really do have that heritage and understand the lifestyle and are also good songwriters. But there's not a lot of them.
No, and there's definitely not a lot of bull riders sitting on the back of the chute that can actually sing. Ever since we nailed this down, I've just been, I can't say it very loud because she'll hear me. Alexa, play, Cörb. I get home, play Cörb Lund music, and it's been a lot of fun because, obviously I know a lot of it, but then there's some stuff that pops up when it plays for, 3 hours that, you don't normally hear. And there's been some good stuff, a very common sense song, don't put your head on the bed, son, and don't wear yellow. And that was a pretty cool song. I got to play that for my son. He's got to learn all that, he's a little over a year. He doesn't really understand yet, but it's coming. And then, I have just, there's so many people. You're one of those guys that I turn on, to people that appreciate that music. I got a committee guy here in San Angelo, and we had lunch today, and I'm like, here, you got to listen to this because he's Hoyt Axton. Remember Hoyt? I'm a wild bull rider, and I love my road. Anyway, so I'm like, you got to listen to Cörb. Corb's a storyteller. It's not just music, it's stories, and a lot of them are comedic, and that's what's the best is you're waiting for that next line, and it brings a smile to your face. And so, then songs like Bible on the Dash, is one of probably, honestly, I'm not saying this because you're here, but it's one of my favorite songs. I love it. I play that all the time in pre-show. I hope you get some royalties off that.
Yeah, so Hammond actually owes you money right now, Cörb. So
I play a lot. Wrote me a song on a $5 bill, and that's great. A lot of people. It's amazing because music like that. It's not like my girl sitting in the pickup truck going down to the levee, going to drink some beer. No, this is wrote me a song on a $5 bill, and I mean that whole story. And somebody stealing the $5 bill. I mean, it's so cool. People are like, who was that? I'll be in Spanish Fork, Utah or somewhere, like, who was that? And I love going, Cörb Lund.
And another thing that's kind of crazy is, Cörb, you're very mysterious down here in the States. Like, people talk about, like, have you ever met Cörb Lund? I'm like, yeah, I met Cörb Lund on the Anthony Lucia show in Vegas one year. And I'm like, he was cool as shit. And they're like, well, that, like, people ask, but well, do you see him around? Is he around like you're a fictitious character? I'm like, no, like there is a Cörb Lund. He's around, but it kind of talk. You've got a long history in music, and in RümpChät, we're also storytellers, kind of full of shit storytellers, but kind of talk about
you are,
your musical background. Like, where did Cörb Lund come from?
Okay. I brought some visual aids, actually.
Oh,
yes.
Hell yeah.
But okay. So family's got a long ranching history and rodeo stuff, both sides, for a long time. We come from, actually, my mom's side of the family comes from American Fork, Utah. On my dad's side from Spring City. They're all if you go back, I've drifted awfully far from the fold, but if you go back far enough, they're all Mormons, eh? And there was a really big migration of those people from Utah and northern Nevada up to Alberta around the turn of the century, because there was free land and stuff. So anyway, my people were ranching down there, and then they came up. So my whole upbringing was like, the first songs that I ever heard were old cowboy songs that my grandpas would sing, and they couldn't sing, but it was interesting because they were just like the last generation where music was actually less of a career and more of a, before there was a lot, the internet and Netflix, people would sing for personal entertainment. And it also served as a sort of a oral history kind of a function. And so, they would sing me Strawberry Roan and Little Joe the Wrangler and When the Work's All Done This Fall. And again, they weren't musicians. They were just ranchers that would sing for entertainment and whether riding or whatever. And then the first record that I ever learned to love was this one. And it's funny because a lot of kids, like, I guess it's just good luck that the first record I was turned on to is still to this day my favorite record. It's this record. You know this record?
Marty Robbins.
Oh,
Hell
yeah.
It's got El Paso and Billy the Kid and all those famous songs on it. And so to this day I still sing these songs. And not only I remember you guys talking to Chancey about cassette tapes, right? Release. So I was so into this. I got down an eBay rabbit hole one day, and I got this thing on every format. I got LP, I got 8-track,
Holy shit,
cassette. I got CD, of course, and I got the 45 of El Paso, and this is the crown jewel of the collection, the reel to reel.
Holy shit!
Wow. Tape.
Cool.
Look at that.
Where in the world did you find that?
Yeah, you did go down an eBay rabbit hole.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's crazy.
That's amazing.
I have to say, Little Joe the Wrangler. That's such a sad song.
He'll wrangle nevermore.
I mean, when I first heard that with Red Steagall, we wore that tape out going to high school rodeos. Little Joe the Wrangler, or Wrangler Nevermore. I'm like,
his
why are you making me listen to this, Dad?
His spur had rung its knell.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, you said Little Joe the Wrangler, but that's great though. I mean, Marty Robbins, yeah. So that's obviously a huge inspiration.
Yeah, the first inspiration, and he's I to this day I'm a nut for story songs, hey. And a lot of, like you're talking about. So that was the first big influence. But then I got in about grade 9th or 10th grade, I got kind of turned on to heavy metal, and I was in a rock band, a real heavy rock band from all of my 20s called the Smalls, and it was kind of like Slayer meets Black Sabbath.
Oh my God!
No shit. See that is badass.
This is your legend. Just
but I never stopped.
Rose.
I never stopped liking Western music, and in fact, some of the we put out 4 records, and some of the lyrical themes that are actually kind of cowboy mixed with metal. But
I'm looking this up, by the way.
This is a short story long. In that scene, it was a real underground kind of, do it yourself punk rock, book your own shows kind of a scene, and the ethos in that world musically was to make your own sound and find a unique angle and make your own style. So my songwriting development was forged in that kind of a scenario where you're supposed to find your own angle on things and be different. And so when I eventually that band broke up and we retired and I started playing Western music, that I'm pretty sure that approach to songwriting carried over, because if you know my stuff, you probably know that it's a lot of it's Western based, but it's also kind of quirky sometimes, right?
Yeah.
I make a lot of stuff together, and it takes some weird twists and turns. And I think that's where it comes from. So long story short, two elements. One element, Western background, generations of that heritage mixed with weird indie do-it-yourself art rock.
Well, and that's that's one thing I love about you, because that's how me and Hambone are. We are Western, we are heavy metal, and
hip hop.
And for the record, I don't know if you can see this, Cörb. I'm also a Marty Robbins fan. I wore a white sports coat and a pink carnation to prom. Okay.
Hey, okay. What happened on that prom date? Did you, was it a successful prom date, or did you go home crying?
No, we stayed up all night playing basketball at the YMCA. Duh. But, so like when you talk about writing like songs for your heavy metal band,
which like, I'm in the process of looking up. So don't mind me playing on my keyboard here.
That is such a different from Western music to heavy metal, which I love heavy metal, like Slayer and, Metallica. I mean, I grew up on Inner Sandman. I never forget the first time I heard that, and, Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion, when they were a little more, metal. But that is just such a different genre from storytelling, Western, and I think it's badass to have that kind of range. Hey, you want Western? I got you. You want to rock? Let's do this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's amazing.
People who don't play music often feel that way, that it's quite different. But to me, you're using the same tools. I tell people it's a lot like, oil painting versus pencil sketching, or hockey and football. You can do both, right?
Yeah,
I can't, but
theoretically,
why not? Yeah, you could.
But
I know what you're saying.
I found that I value that approach to making songs, because it's tough. Songwriting's hard. That's the hardest part of what I do, and it's extra hard to do it in a way that's unique and still reaches people. It's hard. It's not, and it's funny with songwriting, because I've made 9 or 10 records now, and it never gets easier, which is okay. I'm all right with that. I like the struggle of it, but I kind of feel like if you start to figure out, like, oh, I know how to write songs now, I got this down, then that's the moment that you're not, how you got your favorite band and they put out 3 or 4 fantastic records, and then at a certain point they start to suck, and no one can really pinpoint why. My theory is that it's because they think they got it figured out, and they're cavalier about it and don't put the work in anymore. Because every time, I bet you run into this with your act. It's like, to really find new stuff, you got to dig a little bit deep sometimes, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I found through that, and it might be the same in the music world. Like, sometimes you try so hard to come up with new stuff that's really good and new, that it just sucks. I tried to do at San Angelo a few years ago. I tried to jump a motorcycle into a trailer filled with foam, like clear full of foam, and it just sucked. And I thought it was going to be great. And I spent like $6,000 to put this act together, and no one laughed, and it wasn't good, but I was trying so damn hard. And I don't know if that's the same with writing songs. You're like, man, I want to do this, work hard, and then you're like, man, I got something. Then when you actually go to sing it, it's like, well, shit.
Yeah, I've had that exact experience. It's funny, because it's almost a running joke in the band that I'm the worst judge of which songs are going to be popular, because like I'll lay my soul out and put all my skills to bear and come up with a song and think this is a master, and no one gives a shit about it, right? Now, everything is better with some cows around. Everyone loves the cow song.
I love that. Yeah, everything's better with cows around. Yeah, I've sent that to a few guys back home. Like, this makes total sense.
Yeah,
have to get another job just to have the cows around and sell off daddy's land, or be broke like daddy was. I mean, it's genius.
Well, the point is, sometimes the stuff that you just, like, I thought that was just kind of a silly romp when I wrote it, but sometimes the stuff that you don't really the stuff that you really put a lot of work in, no one gives a shit about, and then the stuff that you just think is kind of throwaway stuff is the popular stuff.
It's like the mom scramble.
Yeah,
Like it's the dumbest thing ever, but people love it.
he basically gets moms out of the audience, and they come down in fun moms in the audience, and they come down to the arena, and then they take a boot off. I mean, you've seen kids do it, rodeos. It's the boot scramble, but he does it with moms, and these moms, I mean, go at it. But here's the thing, Cörb, if he sees you, like, if you be at a rodeo where he's at, he may see you and be like, the winner gets $100 from Cörb Lund, and you're like, what?
And you have to pay him so you don't look like an asshole.
All right, so I think this is it. Is it? Hold on. Do you have? Hold on. I hope this is you because I've just downloaded this. All right, here we here. Yeah. Was that you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Can you guys hear me? Because this is still a new program. Could you hear me talking to you guys? All right.
I'm a bass player. Afterwards, if you want to, there's a cool video called Payload. That's one of my favorite ones. And the record to check out is that one. It's called My Did a Little Angle. That's my favorite.
All right. Hold on. We got to do.
Whoa. I love it. That's badass. That's like, I love grunge, and that is total grunge. That is awesome.
That was like Alice in Chains.
It had a girl smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, something about licking a candle clean. Is that what I heard?
She licks her candle clean.
Yeah.
This isn't the direction I thought this would go.
That is RümpChät. It doesn't go any direction that we think it ever will go.
That was badass. I love that sound, like that dirty.
That was awesome.
That low bass and kind of like
it's called grunge.
Well, I know what the hell it's called, Hambone, but it was sweet.
It was interesting because we were sort of, our earlier records are a little more speed metal, and then as things went on, but that wasn't me singing. That was, his name was Mike. I was the bass player in that band.
Yeah.
But he was quite a good singer, so it was kind of
he had a great voice.
Early on, it was kind of slayery stuff mixed with a singer, and then it kind of evolved over the years. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a pretty good crazy cult following up in Canada.
I'm blown away. I mean, that was just like badass. I thought Lane Staley was going to walk on us. Here comes the rooster. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. And then you're like, yeah, wrote me a song on a $5 bill. What a journey, man. It's impressive.
You've got to do something that I've only wanted to do: tour with the rock band. That had to kick ass.
Well, yeah, it's great. I mean, it's funny because I, dad was a pro steer wrestler and mom was a barrel racer and my grandpa's rodeo. And I did a little of it in high school, and I kind of always wanted to do that too, right? So everybody wants to do what they couldn't do, but there's some parallels there, because going down the road's going down the road, right?
Exactly. Yeah. When you're not home, you're not home. That's my mind is blown right now, man.
Yeah, but like when you rodeo, unless you're a rough stock guy, you don't roll down in a van. I guess the bronc riders do, but like maybe me and Hambone should do that. Maybe if we ever get to go to Logandale, me and you and a couple other people get Boyd. We'll load up in a rental van and we'll just rock and roll, write some songs on the way out.
Yeah.
It can't be a rental van. It's got to be like a 1992 that you bought off Craigslist.
I saw one on San Angelo Swap and Sell. I honestly thought about that. I'm like, man, and it was the one with like the captain's chairs in the second row that were the most padded, most comfortable things ever. Yeah. This is unreal. So so you grew up kind of, in the Western lifestyle. You went rock grunge, and then, I mean, because that's kind of a 180. I mean, obviously it was always kind of there in the background. I mean, did you going down the road? You picked up acoustic guitar and start, picking some El Paso by Marty Robbins as in between sets, or is that kind of what you did? It was always there for you. Honestly,
yeah. In fact, everybody in the Smalls was a country fan. We like old country.
That's badass.
So we'd fuck around and sing Merle Haggard and Dwight Yoakam in the backstage. Yeah.
Did you I had this vision that every band that's ever played a live show, they're in the locker room and they all get in a circle and they go, "There are stars in the southern sky." South, you got to snap your fingers.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm an Eagles fan, but yeah.
I'm also an Eagles fan. Yeah, no. Well, my guys don't sing, but we I play a lot backstage. I honestly, like, this sounds like a cliche, but like, I play music before the show, and then I play the show, and then I go say hi to people and sell T-shirts, and then I go back and play some more. Like, it's really fun. Play music.
I was gonna say, is it annoying though to be like, if you're saying, say we're hanging out somewhere and people are like, yeah, play a song, here, play some music, and you're like, okay, because you do it so much, maybe you just want to relax and just like kick back and just have some drinks and visit and not have to sing.
I honestly like playing music for people, and in fact, I prefer playing music for like 6 or 8 people in front of me than like it's more. So no, I wanted to just say earlier in the show when we were making jokes about the guys on the tailgate. I think it's cool. I mean, I get the joke and everything, and I know those guys too. But I think it's great people play music. I think it's good, and I wasn't trying to, because I mean, 99 out of 100 of those guys probably nothing's gonna happen with it. But then you get Cody Johnson, right? So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
there are some guys, and there's a guy. I don't know if you know this, Hambone, but do you know that John Franzen can play the guitar and sing?
I did not know that. John Franzen can do anything he wants to. When you're that large of a human and can beat people up at a whim like he can, play music.
Wade Sankey can play the guitar and sing.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I did not
know.
But those guys are, the thing I like about guys like that, they're not sitting in the Western store.
That's the Luke Kaufmans. I do we go to it's in California. Good
Monterey.
Lord. Monterey, thank you.
Yeah, I was
and
there.
There's a great house band that played. Well, it's not there now. Well, they're Toby Keith's house band at his bar, and Frank and the guys. God, what's their band called? Rump. You remember Frank?
Yeah.
Cort probably knows the guys anyway. And people are like, "Oh, sing Luke," and of course, obviously, Luke Kaufman, and he just starts rapping, and this guy thought that. He kind of let off some lyrics, and this guy walks up, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you want a freestyle battle?" And he goes, and starts, and then Luke just melts this guy down. I mean, it was like, oh my. But that's the fun stuff. I would listen, oh man, if we could, Rump, we got to plan a trip and we got to go to Canada and take Chancey with us and have Chancey and Cörb and you and me.
Well,
and it's just
my
us
grandparents,
four. Just
my
us four.
grandparents still live in Canada. So
yeah, he's part Canadian. Rump he's a quarter Canadian.
Yeah, 1/4.
Part of the tribe?
Waldeck, Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I'm barely Canadian, but I feel pretty Canadian from time to time. Our home and native land.
That's right.
Yeah.
You guys should come up for Calgary.
Oh man, I love Calgary. Keenan Vine, great friend. He's gonna be pissed because we need to have him on the show, and because he gives us crap and he's hey I'll be honest, now we have you, and I think you're the first Canadian. Is that right, Rump? This is gonna be and who else? I mean, like, I'm sorry, I love you, Keenan, but it's Cörb fucking Lund. I mean, you can't. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the F-bomb that just slipped out. See what happens on the old Pendleton and water. But the first time I heard Cörb, I was going to Strathmore, Alberta, Canada, and a great rodeo. A good fan of the show and a good friend, Darcy Ledeen. They worked in Pascal Del Greccio. Great guys. Anyway, they and I'm there, and who was the guy who did the chuck wagons?
How long ago?
Oh God, 7-8 years ago.
Okay.
Anyway, I think he does the chucks at Calgary too. Big tall guy, announces rodeos up there. You would know him, Cörb. Anyway, he asked me. He goes,
Les McIntyre.
Les McIntyre.
That's who it is.
And he goes, and I can't remember what his song, but he goes, you have Cörb Lund's so and so, and I'm like, who? And everybody in the announcer stand stopped. No, this has got to be 10 years ago at least. And everybody in the announcer, because this is the first year I did it for about 4 years, and stops and looks at me, and they're like, get out of here, you stupid American dumbass. How dare you spit in the face of a national treasure?
It's my hood.
That and Ian Tyson's Half Mile of Hell. Like, if I had to go download that right then, because otherwise they were going to chase me out of Alberta.
That's my hood.
Yeah, it is. But that was the first time, and so I remember I went back to the room that night after a ton of way heavier Coors beers than normally drank down here, and even so much beer that I got into the old cocaine, or not cocaine.
Oh shit,
cocainese,
Cocainese, yeah, cocaine.
Yeah. And then at the
wait a minute.
At the cabaret, and they called it a cabaret. We're going to the cabaret, and I'm like, yeah, titters, let's go, strip club, cabaret, yeah. No, it was just a rodeo dance. They call them cabarets up there. Apparently.
Yeah, they should really maybe try to line that out in the future.
I had no idea.
It's metric.
There was a great meme the other day. Speaking of that, there was a guy holding a British flag and a Canadian flag and a Australian flag and all these flags, and it says U.S. metric, U.S. metric, U.S. metric, and then there was a kid with a mullet and a bandana that says "Been to the moon," and it's old English. But anywho, sorry, we digress on this show. Yeah. But that was the first time, and since then it's been like, I mean, when you did the Hui jam session after the BFOs there at the Tropicana, I remember going in there, and I'm like, holy shit, Cörb Lund's playing. Like, I wanted to come up and shake your hand and be like, I'm sorry, I've been playing your music for years, and
big fan.
Haven't been paying you anything, but I hope it's okay. But I didn't. I chickened out.
No, it's really good to hear that. It's funny because I play a lot of rodeos up here, and I played some of the American ones, but it's good to hear that bunch of people are aware of what we're doing, because
100%.
we it's funny because we cross a lot of genres. Like we play rockabilly clubs, we play the Texas outlaw country scene, and we play Americana things in Nashville. But it's really gratifying to me that people out west know us, especially in the rodeo community, because that's kind of my background, family background too. So it's great that to hear that people know us. I need to play. I feel like I'm a couple steps behind, but I need to play Pendleton, Cheyenne. I need to play those places.
Absolutely. I text him when yesterday we were going back and forth last night, and I got to give him to Fiesta. I mean, Rump came and was the entertainer there.
It was awesome.
Is that not a perfect corporate? And we're going to do some big things, and so I'm excited to get you down here, West Texas, and we need to get together. When you come down, or if you're planning a tour down here or something, when shit gets back rolling, which Texas is open up 100%. I'm sure you've seen the news up there, so we're excited about that. San Angelo Rodeo, we'll have an announcement Friday. I don't know when we're going to air this. Probably tomorrow. We'll release this episode, which is not Friday, so I can't say anything, Cörb. I'm also a rodeo manager at the stock show and rodeo down here, so I can't wait. I want to do anything I can to get you more down here, because it's too good. It's a precious gem I want to share with the world.
Well, it's funny. Oh, go ahead.
Is there any talk like with the future? I know you said you got your kind of tour shut off right in the middle, but kind of with everything kind of happening, are your people talking, hey man, we're going to get to go pretty quick, or where's your music scene hitting right now with everything?
It's hard to know, because I mean, even in America, every state handles it differently, right? And every country handles it differently. So we're sort of at the mercy of greater forces here of history, I think. But I think that, unfortunately, like my job basically is to get 400 people into a 300 seat room and get them all sweaty and rubbed up against each other and drunk. That's my job, right?
That's true. Very true.
So it might be a while before things get totally back to normal. I don't know. I feel like, I hate to say it, but I feel like our gig might be one of the last ones that gets back.
It will, live entertainment, and that's what's so sad. In the world, if anything music does, it releases you from the pressures of everyday life.
Amen.
It takes you to other places, and it is so important to lie, and you need that. People need that, and that's why I'm so glad that these states, Texas and Mississippi and Iowa, there's quite a few that have left the mask mandate down, and South Dakota. I mean, how could I forget them? South Dakota, Florida, they haven't even. Are you yawning right now, Rump? Are we boring you?
It's 8:30 p.m.
I spent all day cleaning pools. Okay.
What a bitch! You don't yawn.
No, I was yelling.
It's been gratifying to hear from people that, because like we musicians miss playing, obviously, but it's been gratifying because we've had a ton of people tell us, oh God, I really need live music. And there's not everyone in the population digs live music, but there's a lot of people that really, really love live music, and it's like religion for them, right? And it's certainly for us as musicians, we all want to make a buck and further our careers, but the reason we all got into music is it just feels so good to communicate with people that way, right? And we miss it, and it's gratifying to hear that the audience misses it too. So
absolutely, I can't imagine, like, of course we all dream of being Vince Neil and being the lead man of a huge rock band, or Cörb Lund, or in the middle of a Albertan music festival, just having that connection. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you're a DJ behind a computer doing this, at a music festival, at an EDM festival is what I'm trying to say. I can't imagine. It's got to be so cool. I mean, I play music, but I play other people's music, and it's part of a production. I'm not, how amazing is that to to have those people right there and just fixed on you and locked in and just and you can, I don't know, just their emotions pouring out. I don't know if I don't know, do you get a lot of titties flashed at you? I mean, is that something, I don't know if that happens maybe back in the day when you were, we were playing Alice in Chains music or something, or what?
That doesn't happen in Alberta during the winter. I know that.
Because I know it happens to me at rodeos all the time.
Shit.
They're like, "How about that?"
That doesn't happen. He's lying.
Not really.
That's your goal
I'm
to
lying.
get into the rodeo clown business.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only titties he sees are his own in this mirror.
If you're a big man, I'm a titty fan.
That's so speaking of boobies and stuff like that, we're gonna get a little rump chat here. I mean, tell us some stories. I mean, through your whole career of any of all the bands you've been with. I mean, tell us some stories from the road. Do you have some that stick out that was like, oh my God, what just happened? Yeah.
I should make a list because I get this question sometimes. I always falter on the answer, but here's an interesting one. It has nothing to do with boobs, but
well, that's okay. It doesn't have to do boobs.
Just a suggestion.
We play a lot in Australia, and we played this show one time, and it was kind of a resort casino kind of a situation. And I play cards a lot when I have downtime. So I was in a card tournament, and I had an hour and 15 minutes before showtime. And I was winning the tournament. There was only 3 of us left, and it was looking pretty good. I had a big stack. And my road manager runs into the poker room breathlessly and says, "You're on stage in 10 minutes." And for some reason, someone fucking we have to edit.
It's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Okay. Someone built a casino resort on the border, like on the time zone border. So the casino was an hour earlier than the venue. So I thought I had an hour and 10 minutes, and I had 10 minutes, and I had to run like an asshole to just flat out to make the show. And I was I have a rule. I have the NSOS, the no shorts on stage rule for the band. But I was wearing ridiculous surf shorts and I don't know, flower sandals and a cap or something. And I had to play a show like that because I literally had to run to make the show, and I got there just in time to get on stage because some idiot had decided to build this resort on the time zone border, so that the venue was an hour later than the card room I was in. So that's a story.
More importantly, did you cash out? Did you have to go?
No, that's the shitty part. You can't cash out of a tournament. I just had to retire.
Oh,
bastards!
Talking about $4,000.
Ouch. And I remember one of your songs. I don't know which one, but you're talking about all the different types of poker, Chicago, and God, what song was that? Anyway, I've been binging on Cörb Lund.
All I want to do is play cards. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Like everybody that works for Three Hills Rodeo, that's all they want to do is play cards.
Hey, can we talk about clowning for a minute?
Yeah,
please do.
I want to ask you some questions.
Oh Lord,
perfect.
So, first of all, how long has it been since you tackled that guy in South Dakota?
Oh, that was 4 years ago. Yeah.
So was there ever any like legal implication for you? Hopefully not.
Yeah, there was actually. So when I tackled him in the arena, I was running as fast as I could, which is probably 22 miles an hour.
He can move for a big boy.
Yeah, so you figure 300 pounds moving 22 mile an hour, and I hit the guy in the back. And the bad part was, as hard as I hit him, he got up like fast, and that made me a little nervous. But what nobody saw was the bullfighter, who's a tough dude from North Dakota, Josh Ravinius. When they were escorting him out of the arena, when he tried to pull away from the sheriff's deputy, the bullfighter armbarred him to the ground. I mean, slammed him. And so this guy later on came back to try to sue me because I broke a vertebrae in his back. And so he said he couldn't go to work because of the injury sustained from me. But I got out of it legally because I wasn't trying to be a hero. But I just kept telling him, I'm like, I thought I didn't know that he didn't have a gun. I'm like, what if he would have had a gun?
Yeah.
So then,
sure.
because it was weird for a dude to come running across the arena during the middle of a rodeo. Like,
there were bucking horses with the picket man running. Going, right?
Yeah. And that was another thing. I said, well, you can't see me. Yeah, I hit him hard, but I said, I was, I was caught up in the moment as I get sometimes, and I was saving the day. I'm not a hero, Cörb. I just did what any good old rodeo clown would do.
I think you did the right thing.
And you know what? I've worked so many events in Rapid City since, and every year I get nervous because some of my friends said, "Oh, well, that guy, he's going to come back and kick your ass someday." So like every time when I'm in Rapid City, I was just there for the Black Hills Rodeo Rapid City, and all I could think about is, I wonder if that sumbug's ever going to come to this rodeo and like try to find me, like when I'm walking back to the Holiday Inn.
Have you ever tried to fight a tweaker, Rump?
Yeah, I've several.
They don't go down easy.
No, I know.
They don't feel pain.
They don't.
I choke slammed one after JV's wedding, JV's Ball's wedding, and I slammed I'm not going to say his name, but I slammed him into the floor of my dad's house, and then I got him up into my room, in my old room, and I locked him in the room, and he jumped out of the window in a snowstorm and walked barefooted to my grandma's. So yeah, I've been there.
So you fought a tweaker?
Yes.
But I'm not sure if this was just the media or if it was real, but knocking him down might have been good for him if he was going to get run over by the pickup man, right?
Yeah, well, he said in his interview, if you read in the this is not me making this up. In the interview, he says it might have been better just to have been hit by the horse.
I'm telling you, I can't imagine you with a 40-yard run hitting me smooth in the back. I bet every bone and every joint just cracked.
Well, and what a lot of people don't know, I was about 18 beers deep come bronc riding time. That was back in the old, when I was on the rock and roll road show, where I'd start slamming Keystone Light beers at like
stones,
like 11 o'clock in the morning, and just let it roll into rodeo time. So it might have been more than 18 beers deep by that, because Rapid City was fun. That was back in the drinking beer days.
Yeah, you drank a lot of beer.
Yeah, back in the binge drinking. But like, I just wanted to be a rock and roller. Like, that's all I've ever really wanted to do, and I've never got a chance because I suck at music. I played the trombone in high school, which
we both did.
Trombone players don't get laid. I don't know if you knew that.
No.
And
that's another thing, Cörb. I always tell my wife, I'm like, no woman sits at a rodeo and goes, I want to, do the sound guy.
Oh God, look at that sound guy running that mouth.
I want to, I want to go touch.
I think meat is the politically correct.
Yeah, I'm trying. There's so many words going through my head, and no girl goes, I want to go do that sound guy. Did you hear that drop by Tiesto he played in the bow riding?
Or they look at me and go, "Oh my God, that clown's sweaty. That's so hot. Look at that, his man boob sweat rocking."
But then you can be an ugly ass pickup man like Gary Rempel, who's a legend. I love Gary. I'm just saying that to give him crap, but Dalton Ward, and I'm trying to think of all the other ugly pickup men. There's so many of them out there. But anyway, they're like, oh my God, he's so hot. Look at him ride that horse. And I'm like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, that's actually true. I've seen it firsthand.
So I'm like, Whitney, nobody does that. But to have that, I can't imagine. Is it, what's it like backstage and,
do chicks really try to get behind stage? Like,
yeah, is your road manager out there going, you can go in? Nope, you can go in.
My girlfriend's in there. Hey, there's a lot of people's girlfriends in here.
Yeah, it's not like Guns N' Roses. No, it's mostly a bunch of dudes drinking beer usually.
Just like rodeoing.
Were you like Alice in Chains on Wayne's World? Actually,
it wasn't Alice in Chains. It was Alice Cooper.
Or Alice Cooper. Sorry, God Almighty. Sorry.
So that's all stereotyped then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder sometimes because I'm pretty sure that was real for Nikki Sixx or whatever, but in my world, not so much.
And that's probably good.
Back to your world. I have more questions.
Okay.
Oh shit.
God.
Okay.
It's Cörb Chat.
What I should probably know this, but at what point did the bullfighter and the clown diverge into two separate gigs? Because as a kid, I seem to remember that the bullfighter was the clown. It was the same gig, but now it's separate things, right?
Yeah. So I really think it probably happened in the 80s. Because even when I was younger, like my parents having a rodeo company, we hired Kevin Rich from Greeley, Colorado, and Kevin fought bulls and did the acts. And if you look at, Ted Kimsey, he did both. Whatever. So I think when
A lot of guys.
when
Yeah.
they switched to having two bullfighters, I think that's when they brought in another guy that it kind of started switching. But like Leon Coffey, Kimsey, Tom Feller used to fight both, and I think it just got easier because those guys were, because if you got ran over or if your bullfighter got hurt, that took out your in arena entertainer and the bull.
Two very different skill sets, huh?
Well, yeah, it is. I mean, because most of those guys, especially now, like the bullfighters that are extremely good, they're not very funny, and those guys don't want to be considered a clown at all. Like it's almost offensive to them if you call a modern day bullfighter a clown. They kind of get halfway pissed off.
Well,
so like, I don't know.
The way things have evolved, I can understand that because their focus is on cowboy protection, right?
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Do you know about Kelly Lacoste? He's a Canadian. He was a Canadian bullfighter back when I was a kid. So this is like 80s. But he was like, my dad tells a story about how he was at a rodeo someplace and Kelly was just in the audience and somebody got hung up and the guy was clowning around and the guy was fucking hung up, right? And so Kelly jumped over the fence he was just there as a spectator and sorted the guy out. But that it tells me that at one point that was one job description, right?
Yeah. I'd say probably I'm going to say pretty hardcore, probably mid 80s, late 80s. It split ways. And if you look at the old Wrangler bullfight tapes with like Skipper Voss, even when he was fighting bulls, like when he'd walk around the fighting bull, he'd do like the hat tip thing. So those
Or Leon.
When he did
Leon would dance. Leon did the splits. Leon did that
Bob
for years.
Romer, bull dancer.
Leon did it.
Who is a good example from the old days of someone who was a legitimately entertaining clown, but also a legit guy?
Rex Dunn.
Rick Young.
Yeah,
Rick Young, the Agent Cajun, but all those. Oh God,
the baddest cat ever to do both was Rex Dunn. Rex Dunn was just made freestyle bullfighting, took it up and beyond what anybody could have thought of. Mr. Smooth, wearing the long baggies, and he'd be in the Wrangler bullfight and fight cowboy protection and do acts. And he was funny. And he, somebody had told him, "Hey, Rex, man, bullfighters are a dime a dozen. Bullfighters easy to find, but if you're funny and can do acts, you'll have a job every weekend." So Rex Dunn, I think he is one that kind of, of course, Rex and Rudy and Rick, like that bunch of guys, they were all great. But I would say the great late Rex Dunn, Hastings, Oklahoma, Coyote Hills Fighting Bulls, the coolest son of a buck ever. The one that told me, "You're too chubby to fight bulls, but you're funny as shit." All right. Sounds good to me. But actually, I was a really good bullfighter too. Yeah.
I've seen a million rodeos, and there's some people who are clowns who it seems forced. But there's three guys I can think of: you and Ash Cooper and Flint, who are naturally funny people, right? And are completely okay with, like, it's basically it's really similar it's a form of stand-up comedy in a sense, right?
Well, and Ash has got to do a bunch of that, and I remember when I first met him at Austin years ago, and he was on the stilts. Do you remember when Crash used to have the stilts? And I was like, who is this son of a bitch? Like, and he was awesome. And he's such an artist. I'll never forget. He painted eyeballs on the back of his eyes.
Yeah.
So when he shut his eyes, it looked like his
talented guy.
And it makes me feel like shit because I put on like 2 triangles with black around the triangles for my clown paint, and like Crash can paint an eye on his eye.
Well,
and he's an artist. He's so talented.
And not only that, he's doubly an artist because he's a fantastic watercolorist, but he can do cartoons, right?
Yeah. Funny thing, my mom bought me a birthday card for my 40th birthday that actually he had designed the card, and she didn't even know who he was. So,
really?
Oh, that's cool.
Saskatchewan boy too.
What's that?
He's also from Saskatchewan.
Oh yeah. Yep. He's a good dude, and I actually just talked to him for quite a while on the phone the other day.
Yeah, he's one of the wittiest humans I know. Like, he is so. The first time I got to work with him was at Eldorado Days, which was a Las Vegas rodeo. When they brought it back, the first year they brought it back, he was there. It went away for 10 years, and it came back, and we all went to the casino on there. It was right off Fremont Street in Vegas. And so, but we went to the casino, the El Cortez, where we were all staying, and we went and gambled and drank until, daylight the next day. And it was, I have not laughed that hard. There's been a few times in my life, but he and I, we hit it off a bunch. And then I got to see him a few years ago. I go to Regina, Saskatchewan.
The city that rhymes with fun.
Yes.
Agribition.
Boy, that's that place melts my mind when you're 50-50. Granted, it's Canadian, but I don't give a shit. It's a lot of money. Your 50-50 is like $68,000. And you're like, what? Most 50-50s at rodeos, for the winner of $768, it's ticket number 13684.
Yeah, we love 50-50s. It's a hockey thing.
Yeah.
Is it really? Is that?
I think so.
Somebody said that the 50-50s came from Canada.
Yeah, it's a hockey thing.
Well, God bless hockey.
God bless hockey.
Because I put, and every time I don't have any Canadians, so I got to give them $20 American, but I don't care because I'll put $20 in to win,
93,000,
46,000 American, whatever it is. Because last year, the first 2 performances, Cörb, it carried over.
No one redeemed their ticket?
No, from last year's rodeo. Oh. So it carried over. It was like $80,000.
Damn.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I was like, what the shit is happening?
If you would have won that, I'd be like, bye, bitches. Bye.
No, we went and ate dry ribs and wings after.
You went to the cabaret.
Oh, yeah. We went to the cabaret and had cocaine. And no.
Cocaine.
Canada's awesome. I don't know. There's something about the Canadian fans. We have so many friends up there, and we have a lot of fans of the show up there, which is more than we knew. When I went up to Regina, was of course obviously this last year, but the year before, which was our first year of doing this, and they're like, "Oh, we love it. We love this, and we love the RümpChät, and we're listening. Where can we get it more?" And I'm like, what is going on? That's when I started to have a sense maybe, Rump and I actually are onto something special. And now, we've had Bob Tallman and Joe Beaver and Boyd and Donnie Gay and now Cörb Lund. It's kind of surreal. I'm having a surreal moment, maybe because I just drank a tall boy of Pendleton, but it's pretty surreal to be hanging out with Cörb and I don't know, maybe I don't know if we're taking you away from your shop class you have. Are you?
No, I'm good. Rump, the first time I remember meeting you was a couple years ago at the what they call it, the shootout, in Vegas.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, at the Orleans.
Yeah, and shoot, I had a point that I was going to make about that.
So I kept rambling. I'm sorry. I
No,
ruined it.
you said something or that made me. Shit, I don't know what I was going to say. I think it was the tribute night to Doug Vold, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, it was tribute night to Harry Vole, but it turned into the Doug Vole tribute.
Doug grabbed me because I was talking to you, Rob, and then Doug grabbed me and said, "You got to come meet the Bronc Riders." And I was like, and I was supposed to sing the anthem. That's why I was there. And it was like 15 minutes till showtime, and he grabs me he literally grabbed me by the collar.
Yeah, that's Doug. That's Doug.
So I was like, okay. So I went into the dressing room and I got singing Buck and Horse songs for the Bareback Riders, and then some girl with a clipboard, super freaked out, was like, "Oh my god, you're on stage!" And
it was Lisa Bailey.
Yeah, I had to run out and sing the Canadian anthem after. Yeah, but that was
Scruffy. I remember that Scruffy. He was supposed to, because Rory Lemmel is the producer of that show, and he looks Doug. I mean, they dressed him up to look for this is to explain the story to our fans. They dressed him up.
I know.
I mean, to look like Harry, and he looked exactly like Harry.
It was eerie.
On that black face, they got a black horse with the black horse with a blaze face, what Harry always rode, and he rode out there, and he's supposed to ride like a quarter of the way out the arena through the smoke and tip his hat and turn and ride out.
I think he's
yeah. Scruffy was drunk, and Scruffy rode to the other end of the arena. I mean, hat off and just flopping around like he looked like Whiplash on the back of the dog.
But that wasn't even the best part, though. The best part was later that night. So I have that bar with the watch party in the Orleans, right? So Doug Vold comes in there, and he's my friend, and he kind of was pretty deep drinking. Well, the security guard walks over and he goes, and he said, "Hey man, I know you're kind of running this bar, but we got a problem." I'm like, "Well, what's the deal?" And he goes, "If your dad doesn't settle down, we're going to kick his ass out." I said, "My dad's not here." And he said, "No, your dad right over there." And he pointed, and Doug is waving at me, giving me the thumbs up, like, "Just go with it." And I said, all right, Dad. And I pulled him aside and I got him lined out. Then when they went to close the bar, he got on stage uninvited and sang "House of the Rising Sun."
There is a house in
his go-to. Is his go-to.
Yep.
The great Scruffy.
I'm related to those guys by in-law. We're all related. The rodeo community is small, right? So my cousin married a Vold, so we're sort of third generation. What do you call it? Shirt tail relatives.
That's awesome. He's
another visual aid. I got to show you this one.
Whoa! Look at that hair.
Check that.
There you go.
That's like circa 1981.
Kessler Rodeo.
Kessler.
Dang, that's badass. That's Painted Smile's dad on the.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool alley.
Did you ever meet Reg?
I never did. I only met Greg and Dwayne.
Yeah, me too.
Reg was a good friend of my grandpa. My grandpa they grew up in the same town in Rosemary, and my grandpa took him to his first Calgary Stampede.
Wow.
And I remember him when I was riding steers as a kid, because he was real gruff, but a great guy, a super nice guy, but real gruff on the surface. And he had a few catchphrases, and if you're on your steer and you're taking too long, he'd say, "You're just like your goddamn father." He looked at me, and he's friends with my dad and my grandpa, so he said that to me. I was getting tightened up, and he looked at me, and he realized it was me, and he kind of gave me a wink, but I felt good.
Nice.
Yeah, I know that Greg was gruff. He used to come to Austin and yell at me a lot. But Dwayne was always nice. Dwayne's cool.
Yeah.
Talks really slow. Oh, goodness.
Man. It is. It's a small world, man. It's a small world. So when did you realize, kind of like me, you know, in high school rodeo and stuff, and then after high school rodeo, it's like, okay, I'm not going to make a living at this, and, you know, time to move something else. You know, everybody team ropes. You know, I love to rope, but everybody team ropes. But so when did you realize, like, okay, yeah, maybe I'm not going to be a bull rider. You know, enough is enough. Something else.
Well, as a kid, at least back then, it's a little different now. But back then, the only option available was steer riding, right? Like there wasn't junior bull. Maybe in the States, I don't know, but where I was from, there wasn't junior, like 13-year-old bronc riding or roping or whatever. So I was in 4-H. I goat tied stuff, but I never really aspired to be a bull rider, and I was always too big for it because by the time I was 14, my legs were too long to ride.
Yeah, you're a tall guy.
Yeah, so I bulldogged a little bit in high school, but went to a handful of high school rodeos. But by that time, I was just into music so much that it just took me to another direction.
So high school is when you, I mean, I guess I don't know, we kind of didn't get into that. So you started picking up the guitar then?
Yeah, like 14, 15 years old, something like that. Now I was fooling around with bulldogging, but I didn't really stick.
Yeah. Did you pick up the guitar to, like, because you liked it, or did you pick up chicks and stuff?
Yeah.
Like I tried, but it.
No, I picked it up because I met some friends at school. I was kind of a nerd at school, and I just
way.
Yeah, 100%. And I met a bunch of buddies who were just into, you know, Black Sabbath and stuff, and I liked it too. And
yes.
that's why I got into guitar, is to play Tony Iommi riffs.
That is insane.
I know.
My mind is still blown. Like it's.
My fingers are too chubby to play the guitar.
Yeah, they are.
I can play the air guitar like a son of a bitch, but you know, like I said, I never got past the trombone.
Play us something there, Cörb. What do you got?
Yes.
So you got, I don't know if it's the latest thing you've done, but I love it. It's another one of those storytelling kind of comedic deals that everybody in the Western industry who's married to a woman who loves horses understands. The song that you just did, and what's her name? Jamie.
Jada, horse pour.
Yeah, horse pour.
Horse pour.
Yeah, would you mind playing us a tune or something to see if it? It's great. This is perfect. I love it.
Does the mic pick the guitar up okay?
Yeah, it's good.
Right. Okay, I gotta sing the girl part too. Then it's a duet.
Yeah, that's true. I guess that was a terrible request.
I'm comfortable.
Okay.
Folks think you're rich when they see you have horses. Well, that might be true if my income sources weren't eating up every month on the boardage for all our four-legged friends. My accountant says that my funds are depleted, but I keep my wealth right where I could see it, in pastures and barns and in show arenas. And because of the money she spends, well, horse poor, I sell one, she buys two more. The luxuries we could afford if we was rich and not horse poor. I've had a lot of feedback on this. It's been positive.
It's awesome.
Okay, here's the girl part. Here's the female part. Well, he must have forgot the show where he met me. He said the way I sat in my saddle was sexy. Said a cowgirl like me was worth every penny. Better start making sense now, my dear. You can build me a barn and it better be heated with a whole lot of stalls and I'm a little bit drunk. Buy me a stud and smile when you feed it, because we're just getting started round here. We're horse poor, I sell one, she buys three more. The luxuries we could afford if we was rich and not horse poor. By the power that's vested in me by the pony. You should be saddled in this matrimony. I now pronounce you man, wife, and horses. You make all your money goodbye. Horse poor, I sell what she buys for. More luxuries we could afford. If we was rich and not horse poor. Horse poor, I sell what she buys for. More luxuries we could afford. If we was rich and not horse poor.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Word.
We gotta play another one, and I'm gonna jump up real quick because I don't have my laptop plugged in, and if my laptop dies, I'm gonna die myself. But for our audience, can you play my favorite Cörb Lund song, "Bible on the Dash"?
I could try. That's a little tricky.
Is it a little tricky? Okay, $5 bill.
That would be easier. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna plug this.
Bit of background. So our family ranch is about 6 miles north of the American border, and there was a period of time in the States when it was illegal to sell booze, but it was still legal up here. And then we followed suit about 5 years later. But there was a little window where it created a sort of an economic opportunity. So my grandfather provided a public service to the American people.
My man.
Yeah.
My man.
About him. I wrote my new song on a $5 bill, but I won't be able to sing it until I get hot on the trail or to pick up a track of the dirty little thief and get my $5 back.
I love it.
$5 on my Montana man when he come across the line with a pistol in his hand. He said he'd give me all your money, but I got to his first. I took his Colts too and the whole first verse. You see, you couldn't buy liquor in the States back then, so we saddled up the ponies and we loaded up the gin. Rode underneath the shadow of the Grand Oak Heat against the Northern Rocky Mountain County tax rate. You couldn't count on the cattle when the market got down, and the veterinary bills with the doctor in town. The kids needed shoes and they had to get fed, and a big old bank lien was over my head. I wrote my new song on a $5 bill, but I won't be able to sing it until I get hot on the trail for to pick up the track of the dirty little thief and get my $5 back.
Love it.
Stop talking about Canadian rye, okay, and the palate is crisp and it's dry. The sea grounds bottle tasted mighty top shelf. Is that, well, thank you very much, sir. I cooked it myself. Of course, that didn't wash with the boys down south, judging by the stream of color coming out of their mouth. I can't figure why, because from where I stood, I got them just as damn drunk as any store-bought bread. I wrote my new song on a $5 bill, but I won't be able to sing it until I get hot on the trail for to pick up the track of the dirty little thief and get my $5 back. Hey! He comes storming across the border with 6 or 8 guys. Some damn fool saw 50 deputized. There weren't much outdoor marshal inside. I guess the long man was up and drinking whiskey all night. He said, give me all your money, but I got to his first. I took his Colts too and the whole third verse. He picked my back pocket worth $5 loose. I had tucked in behind a can of Copenhagen's juice. I wrote my new song on a $5 bill, but I won't be able to sing it until hot on the trail or to pick up a track of the dirty little thief and get my $5 back. The dirty little double dealing son of a gun with songs, eating chicken, eating thief and get my $5 back.
That's a badass. I love that song, and that's one of them I play a lot, in pre-show, and that people are going, "What? Who was that?" Because it's you stop, you start. Most songs you don't really listen to the lyrics, but that gets you sucked in. A lot of your music gets people to listen to the actual lyrics, not just the beat to it. It's an actual story, and that's what when you look you up. That I think it's a huge compliment. Is it says Cörb Lund songwriter, not singer, or it's a songwriter. And I mean, songwriting's obviously where the money's at, really. I mean, you know what I mean, right?
Well,
all that, but anyway.
Not only that, it's more satisfying to sing shit that you wrote, because I mean, to me, the whole point of the art form is to communicate to people, and especially, if I was a fisherman from Eastern Canada, it'd be different, or if I was a miner from England, but I'm not. My family history is cowboy stuff, so it's a big deal to me to be able to communicate our culture.
It's the same way to bringing in rodeo terms. Like I know, like stock contractors, when they win horse of the year, or they win a round at the NFR on their horse that they've raised.
Yeah,
it means so much more than one that they bought, because anybody with money can go buy good horses, but to raise one up and have it win horse of the year, or that's just another level of amazing of just being proud. And I think that's got to be the same way with singing a song that's like that. But do you have anything that you might want to you want to sing for us? Like you got any?
The telephone rang about 8:45.
Oh, shut up.
She heard his voice on the other line. Wondered what was wrong this time. You asked for it.
Yeah, do it.
What his calls might bring. With a cowboy like him, it could be anything. She always expected the worst in the back of her mind.
Sing it, Rump.
Said it's cold out here and I'm all alone. Didn't make it short though again. I'm coming home. I know I've been away too long. Didn't have time to write a call. I know this rodeo's been hard on us all, but I'll be home soon. And honey, is there something wrong? She said, don't bother coming home. By the time you get here, I'll be long gone. There's somebody new, and it sure ain't no rodeo man. He said, I'm sorry that it's come down to this. There's just so much about you that I'm gonna miss. But it's alright, baby, if I hurry, I can still make Cheyenne. Gotta go now, baby, if I hurry, I can still make Cheyenne. He left that phone dangling off the hook. He slowly turned around and gave it one last look. Then he just walked away. He aimed his truck toward that Wyoming line. With a little luck, he would still make it in time. And on that Cheyenne wind, he could still hear her say, so don't bother coming home. By the time you get here, I'll be long gone. There's somebody new, and it sure ain't no rodeo man. He said, I'm sorry that it's come down to this. There's just so much about you that I'm gonna miss. But it's alright, baby, if I hurry, I can still make Cheyenne. Gotta go now, baby, if I hurry, I can still make Cheyenne. She never knew what his calls might bring. With a cowboy like him, it could be anything. But she always expected the worst in the back of her mind.
Yeah.
Hell
I love it. Nice.
George and Garth were the last two guys that had anything Western on country radio.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Let's take a little bit of a deeper look at that song. That's a dark song because he's talking to the girlfriend and he has that line where he says, I know this rodeo has been hard on us all, so I'm assuming there's a family involved. So she says she's dumping him, and within a second he's like, okay, it's good, I'm gone to the next one. That's dark.
I never thought about that.
But since we are on that subject, I was driving home from San Antonio the other night, when a George Strait song came on, Marina Del Rey.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now, Marina Del Rey may be one of the best George Strait songs ever. But here's what makes no sense about that is the lady in the song is saying pretty much she just bangs George Strait on a hidden beach and takes off. Like, who's going to bone George Strait and then never see him again? Okay. That song is a lie.
Not me.
Hidden beach under golden sun. She spread a blanket that we laid down on and loved the world away.
Like, but he might have wrote that before he was George Strait, as we know George Strait.
I'll bet that could be right.
True.
Some lady right now is going, you'll never believe this, but Marina Del Rey, I banged George Strait. Shut up, Helen. No, you didn't.
She's sitting on the end of a smoke-filled bar.
There's 20 ladies saying that, actually.
Hey, I'm going, I banged that song's about me.
Yeah, because that's damn near 40 years ago.
Get me another Sambuca.
You know what the gender 180 degrees of that song is? It's this one. So that one is the guy being totally callous, leaving the family. I don't know the whole tune. I'm just going to play a little bit of it. But this is the polar opposite gender-wise of that song. Saw your picture on a poster in a cafe out in Phoenix. Guess you're still the sweetheart of the rodeo.
Oh, yeah.
As for me and little Casey, we still make the circuit in a one-horse trailer and a mobile home. She still asks about you all the time. I guess that we don't even cross your mind. Sometimes that's what the chorus is difficult, but that's my point. So that one, you got the woman who's even harsher because she leaves the guy and little Casey to become a barrel racing champion.
Yeah, that Dan Seals.
Rodeo's a dirty business.
Yeah, do you know the greatest Dan Seals song though of all time? I mean, come on.
Meet You in Montana?
No, Bop. Come on. I wanna bop you, baby. That's the dirtiest song ever in country music. I wanna bebop you, baby. I wanna bebop you, baby, till the break of dawn.
Yeah, that is pretty. That was before WAP. Before WAP, you had bebop. Yeah, I mean, he must not have been very good if it takes to the break of dawn.
Yeah. You shouldn't drink so much.
How about and we were swinging? How about that one?
Swinging. Hey, actually, you know, Rumps wrote a few songs.
I wrote a Bobby Marriott song.
You what?
I wrote a song about Bobby Marriott.
Who's an NFR pickup man? I don't.
It's not a good song. Now, I'm embarrassed. I'll have to send it to you. Maybe you can put it to a guitar.
Actually, we've been wanting Chancey. Well, we've been, I mean, anybody. We need to have a RümpChät song that we can start
a theme song.
A theme song. So I don't know. We need to collaborate on something.
You got to get Chancey and Ned Ledoux and me to do it.
It would be great.
That would be awesome because actually George and Garth and actually the Stones want to play the rhythm section, but they've been busy, so they said, "Hey, if you guys find somebody else, go ahead." So
you weren't able to reach George and Garth. Is that what you're saying?
Well, they said they're a little busy right now doing something. So if we, not to say your second choice, but.
I understand my role.
Yeah, right. Okay. What about what's Los? What is that? Los McKendree? I don't know.
Las Cruces?
No, Ferg messaged me something on.
Les McIntyre. That's the guy. That's the announcer that you were thinking of earlier.
I couldn't see it. It's in really small print. Okay, there it is.
We're in-laws as well. He married my cousin.
Ah.
We're all related up here. He married my cousin Artha. She's Artha Lund. She's a second cousin, but they divorced. But yeah.
Well, when you Google Cörb Lund, it actually, one of the main searches that comes up when I because I Googled your name, one of the associated searches says, is Cörb a Canadian Lund? Where did Cörb Lund grow up? What genre is Cörb Lund? Is Cörb Lund married? And what is Cörb Lund's net worth?
Should we run down them from the start?
Can you answer all those questions?
Okay, go. Let's do the lightning round. Go.
Okay. Is Cörb a Canadian Lund?
Yes, sir.
Where did Cörb Lund grow up?
Tabor, Alberta.
What genre is Cörb Lund?
That's complicated. Agricultural tragic.
Is Cörb Lund married?
Nope.
What is Cörb Lund's net worth?
Not as much as he'd like it to be.
I don't know. Judging by that very organized, are you OCD somewhat? Your shop is immaculately organized, and I'm very impressed.
Yeah, it's pretty organized. It's half a shop and half music studio.
Yeah. So going through my phone here, that's at Strathmore the very first year I did it.
Show me closer. Who you with there? I can't. Oh, that's
Bob and Les.
Yeah, okay.
Bob Tallman and Les McIntyre.
Do you guys know?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, but hold on. But look at this one. How about this? How about this picture? Is this your cousin?
Oh,
No.
damn.
The gal?
Yeah.
No, that's not her. No.
Who's she?
I
don't know, but look at
Look at Liesl in the
Liesl
background.
Harris in the background.
Hi, y'all. Hi, y'all.
He's rocking. Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, Strathmore, Alberta.
You know, Rump, what I was gonna say earlier when I said I was talking about when I first met you at the what they call it, the
Shootout.
Yeah. What I forgot until now that what I was getting at was that was the night where I've never met Bob Tallman before, and he came up to me. I had sung the anthem, and then I was just hanging out watching the Bronc Riders, and he came up to me, and he kind of goes like, gives me the kind of the mustache wink and goes,
Yeah.
Everything's better with some cows around. I was like, hey, I've made it.
I'm telling you.
The mustache wink.
That was the bet that night, you know, when Bob's doing this Harry Vold tribute and Bob Tallman doing Bob Tallman.
Yeah.
And the smoke is rolling. And then here is this Harry Vold lookalike that is his son. And he's riding out and he goes to the back end and it goes to shit from there. But we made it work. But yeah. God, what a great night. I wish I'd have met you that night.
That was my point bringing that up was that I felt that was the night I made it in the Western community when Tallman came up and quoted my song lyrics to me.
Oh man, he will. That guy loves black. You got black cows. Cows. Anyway, hey, just to wrap it up, Cörb, what do you got? Do you have anything planned coming up? What can we expect coming from Cörb Lund here soon? Pray God.
I'm working on a record called Songs My Friends Wrote, and it's all songs that my friends wrote, like a bunch of my songwriter buddies. And then I'm working on a new record as well for my own stuff. So
awesome.
Wood Smoke, I think.
Any sneak preview we can get to close us out?
Fixing some fence. I got a song. Okay, this will give you an idea. None of them are finished, but I got a song called. It's like it's an outlaw song called. It's called "They're Gonna Have to Hang Me to Do Me Any Good," and I got another song called "That Old Familiar Drunken Feeling," which is about being in Colorado a few years ago when they first legalized, and going to
there.
Yeah, and we all went and did a gummy bear, and it was like a nightmare because if you're the front man, I'm not a pot guy, but it was legal, so I thought, what the heck, we'd have a band experience.
Me too.
And show high is the worst if you're the front man, and so the only thing that got me through it was this, like because
Pendleton.
As I got drunker, it was like drunkenness I can handle. I know this feeling. I can handle this feeling. So that's what that song's about. And then I got one called "They Shouldn't Have Killed Han Solo," It's about
They shouldn't have.
No, they shouldn't have. I remember seeing Star Wars as a kid in the 70s. Like I was just barely enough to remember movies. And my dad, and he walked out of it and he said, "That's the best Western I've seen in years."
It's true. It's true.
So yeah, that's a sort of a taste of it. I'll give you a chorus.
Yeah, just give us a little taste to give us a little tease for our fans.
This will be the exit music. Thanks. This has been a lot of fun, you guys. Thanks for
Thank you.
And thank you, buddy.
Here's what we have to get together in real life off camera and get drunk together. I think
We'll do it.
Please.
Yeah.
Need Hambo to warm up until you get down here.
Yeah, we'll be practicing.
I want that old familiar drunken feeling washing over me this evening. I want to be embraced like an old friend. Heart is racing, mind is reeling, that old familiar drunken feeling, something I can count on to the end. I want that old familiar drunken feeling washing over me this evening. I want to be embraced like an old friend. Heart is racing, mind is reeling, that old familiar drunken feeling, something I can count on till the end.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Amen.
That is perfect.
You feel me?
That is
Been there.
badass. Yeah, been there many a time. Cörb, we cannot thank you enough for taking out the time and being a fan of the show is quite humbling, and we cannot wait to get together with you live somewhere. Who knows? Maybe
God willing, someday soon.
Let's definitely plan on NFR Vegas this year. Let's definitely plan on that. Plan on coming and being on the show then. But you never know. Maybe before that. Maybe a Fiesta if I can gather a few dimes up to get you down here to the States.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's great. You guys are doing a really good job of bringing the rodeo community into the 21st century with the podcast.
Yeah, that's what we like. We like just telling good stories and having good fun. And you are definitely one of the greatest storytellers. We are blessed to have you in our lives. So thank you for all you do.
I think it's really important because, we all understand that the Western community and the rodeo community, they're pretty conservative and they're sort of and I'm that way too. I like the past, but it's good to drag them into the future a little bit.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I got one more visual aid for you.
Please do. Please do.
So this is from 1932. This is the cowboy, the contestant picture from the Stampede in 1932. Isn't that cool?
Wow! Look at that panoramic. That is so awesome.
And those four little tags. That's my grandpa and his two brothers and my great grandpa. This is my great grandpa. Here.
Wow.
You can see Chet. Wow. You can see Chet Johnson on the end.
Yeah.
I think they all I think a lot of the shows used to do these old pictures, but
yeah, I've got some from Sydney, Iowa.
Cool, right?
Actually the same 1930, early 30s, 30, 32, something like that. But it's so cool, and they all had a batch of the band would be in some of them, and then everywhere had Indians. All the rodeos used to have the Indians.
In this one, if you look close, you can't see. There's a bunch of Blackfoot guys, and Tom Three Persons was the bronc riding champ the first year they had the Stampede, and he was a Blackfoot guy.
Wow.
I got Blackfoot cousins that are rodeoing still.
That's awesome. Well, we can't thank you enough, brother. And let's do this again. Let's absolutely do this again. Let's
Everybody
get together.
Go check out Cörb Lund music.
CörbLund.com. Check it out. He's iTunes, Spotify. All you got to do is say, Alexa, play Cörb Lund music. That's all I do when I get home. And she playing Cörb Lund. But it sounds more like Lund. playing Cörb Lund, you know, she always murders names.
Yeah,
Alexa.
way to go,
She's so
Alexa.
stupid. But
Well, next time, I didn't get through all my questions. Next time we do this, I want to ask you about grease paint and all that stuff.
We'll do it. We'll do it.
Hey, I actually found a payload.
Yeah,
So we're gonna go out to that. Is that okay?
sure. Yeah,
All right.
It'll be
All right.
it'll be a left turn, but that's cool with me.
All right, yeah, complete left turn, but that is RümpChät. But we'll see y'all later. Cörb, stick around. We'll catch up with you for a second. But yeah, here we go.
Okay.
Hey, 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 low. Hey, 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 low. It's been long. It's been long. Long. It's been a long time coming along. I've waited long. Goddamn long. For you to sing my swan song. Hey, 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 low. Hey, hey,
Wow, sorry, I didn't mean to hit stop. Was that you with the long hair? Sorry, we're back. I got to hit. Was that you? The hair down to like your butt?
Yes, sir. Yep. My dad was thrilled.
I bet he was. God, you're a legend. Your legend is just bigger than I imagined before. So anyway, but sorry, folks. I had to do that. I had loaded that up and I had to see that. But anyway, again, Cörb Lund, you thank you for being you and your songs and your stories and just bringing what you bring to music and to people's lives. So we're just honored to have you part of RümpChät, brother.
Thanks. Yeah, it's an honor for me too. Thanks.
Awesome.
I'll
Cool.
see you down there someplace.
You bet, man.
Hell yeah.
We'll see y'all later. Check out RümpChät. Again, that's CörbLund.com. Check out his music, iTunes, Spotify, all the places you can buy it. Don't steal it. Don't be a douche. Buy it. He needs another extension cord, I can see. Anyway, RümpChät, we're out. We'll see you next week. And adios.
Hey, 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 low. Hey, 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 low.